Standing near the cross of Jesus were his mother and his mother's sister Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother and the disciple whom he loved standing beside her, he said to his mother, "Woman, here is your son." Then he said to the disciple, "Here is your mother." And from that hour the disciple took her into his own home.
We now turn to the heart of today's worship, the Passion as recorded in John. By way of preparation, we have explored Jesus' words from the cross in Luke to steel ourselves for the cry of abandonment of Matthew and Mark. To these four biblical communities, we bring the experience of this community. The Marty Haugen song, All Are Welcome, concludes the final verse with, "Let us build a house where all are named, their songs and visions heard, and loved and treasured, taught and claimed as words within the Word," where word has a capital W, meaning the Word. We, this community, are words within the Word. For this fifth word from the cross, the order of the section is flipped, because I wanted us to hear the scripture about the community of Jesus before singing about the community of Christ. The song is by Shirley Arena Murray. You may recall from our Celtic Eucharist in January that I said she died on the 25th of January this year, the conversion of St. Paul. The music is by Bernadette Farrell. A woman's words set to a woman's music. Community of Christ. I have been struck again this year by the poignancy and relevancy of reciting the Benedictus each morning over the last 5 days, immediately after Lizzie's thought for the day. The Benedictus is the song that Zechariah sings, and I imagine him holding the baby John as he sings to John. If you have never tried that, give it a go sometime. Cradle a baby and sing gently to the child. 2 ideas stand out for me. First of all, that the word enemies occurs twice. Save us from our enemies and free us from the hands of our enemies. The second idea is that all this is accomplished in the tender compassion of our God. Surely that is what is going on here in this 5th word. John records, standing near the cross of Jesus were his mother and his mother's sister, Mary the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene, and of course the disciple whom he loved. With tender love and compassion, he commends them to each other and they form a new family. As Marianne May Thompson puts it, this verse reflects traditional material known from the Synoptic Gospels, where Jesus' mother and brothers are defined as those who do the will of God, and the bonds of the family extend beyond the lines of common blood. Jesus here defines the family or household that is created by the means of his death. The point is reiterated when the risen Jesus commands Mary Magdalene to report to his brothers, i.e. his disciples, that he has risen. As Shirley Arena Murray puts it in the Bernadette Farrell song we just sang, this community of Christ makes the cross its own, looks past the church's door, cries out for justice and for peace, and its currency is love. Or as Pope Francis puts it, Christians are about building relationships, not walls. Zechariah held the baby John in his arms, singing tenderly of how his ministry would prepare the way for God. As God hangs on the tree, Jesus commends those whom he loves to each other. They were, became, and will be the community of Christ.